and I've committed a crime. Yes, Sir Hairless here. Today we have a Patreon request from Laurie. Thank you for this one. The video is titled Celine Dion surprises the Canadian Tenors and sings Hallelujah with them. So does this mean the Canadian Tenors genuinely did not know she was going to be performing with them? I guess we'll find out, but very intriguing nonetheless. Canadian Tenors, I don't know them. I googled them. Apparently they were formerly known as the Canadian Tenors. Now they are just the Tenors. As for the song, Hallelujah, that needs no introduction, I'm sure. I think I read somewhere it's the most covered song of all time. Not sure if that's officially or unofficially. I don't know how they would measure unofficial statistics. Anyway, I went to listen to the original song by Leonard Cohen to refamiliarize myself with it, as I often do when doing a video on a cover song. And I've committed a crime. I realized after about 10 seconds that I've never heard Leonard Cohen's version of Hallelujah. So I stopped that. It's probably a good idea to do a reaction video to that at some point in the future, considering how famous it is. So famous that I thought I even knew it. But, you know, there we go. It was very different to my memory of the song Hallelujah. So what is my memory? I don't know. There are so many versions out there. Maybe it's the one from Shrek. Who knows? I'm not going to go out and listen to them all. Regardless, I do know the song, whichever version it might be. I have a very clear chord structure in my head, a basis of the song in my head that I'm familiar with, so which I will be using when listening to this. So let's get straight into it and see which version they create here.
I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah.
Oh, very different voice in him there. Yeah, just some things I'd like to go over before I forget. I had no idea what to expect from this. I don't know the Canadian Tenors. Like I said, who knows which version of Hallelujah I've heard or haven't heard, like I said in the introduction. So we'll do our first pause here. If you don't want to hear my thoughts or analysis, go to the timestamp. So just before we paused, we heard the piano coming in. Very interesting line. Doubled up in octaves, so in the right hand and the left hand. We don't see the pianist, only slightly at the beginning. The quality is not great, but we can just about make them out here. The piano comes in after we've had this textural layering, solo singer at the start, then the harmonies, some of which were quite interesting, really nice actually. And of course the guitar. I was not expecting one of them to be playing the guitar. I don't know why. I guess I've just not really seen a kind of classical crossover group, if you'll call them that, playing the guitar before. But with the song like Hallelujah, it certainly makes sense. The opening guitar, these arpeggios. The only change is in the bass note. So these are the notes that we hear. And then the second time round, but all the top notes here are the same. This is interesting to me because the version that I have in my head, the bass line is. So, in this pattern, on this note here is when the bass would have that passing note that would take it down. So So in the version that I know in my head, the note is a semitone clash if we bring it up the octave. So to me, that was a surprise I perhaps might have been expecting to hear instead. Because then we still have this bass line pattern in terms of the notes. But this is an arrangement of the song. They can do whatever they want with it. It's the smallest of differences. And again, I am only pointing this out just because of, I guess I'm just so surprised that I don't know what version I know of one of the most famous songs of all time, Hallelujah, in my head. It throws me off a tiny bit, just a tiny bit. Anyway, first guy comes in. I feel bad calling him first guy. What is his name? Let's find out. Fraser Walters, apparently a member of the group from 2007 to 2022. Fraser enters. I like his voice.
I heard there was a secret chord David played and it pleased the Lord, but
quite more towards the poppy end of singing stylistically as opposed to your traditional classical singing or operatic singing. A very subtle vibrato, making use of the glissandos, the slides.
goes like this, the fourth, the fifth, minor fall, the major lift.
Implementing a fair bit of rhythmic freedom. Some notes are a bit longer than we might expect based on the traditional melody. Some are a bit shorter.
Baffled king composing hallelujah.
No vibrato at the end of the phrase there, sliding off the note. He definitely has a style to his singing. Then the texture thickens, the harmony comes in and the piano enters. That's the interesting harmony there. That top line there. They changed to their head voice, whoever's singing that top line for the top note. So I heard that, I was thinking, oh, they're moving up, very interesting. But then that dropped down. Takes us into this scrunch chord. So the top part, taking us into this chord. I think the note they jumped down to is actually doubled up, which means that these are the notes in the chord. One of them is singing fairly low down here on this B. And if we bring all the notes closer together, it's this unresolved suspension. A suspension is typically a suspended note. In other words, it's a note that doesn't fit in with the chord, it causes dissonance, and then it moves, it resolves to a note that does fit in. In this case, it could move from here to... There's no resolution, we're left on this dissonance, which causes a nice bit of tension considering how nice and soft and calm the harmonies are and the performances. And then to finish up the first verse, the guitar is really the main rhythmic driving force with its very consistent chum 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 pop 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 pop. The piano just adding a little bit of something else, some counter melodies, counter rhythms. And I really like here how the highest part is using a nice airy head voice. If I think there are going to be some tenors singing this at that pitch, you might think that they would be belting it in true operatic tenor style. But no, they think this style works best for this song at this moment, and I would certainly agree. Okay, let's carry on from singer number 2 coming in for the second verse. Victor is his name.
Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this room and I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. Seen your flag on the marble arch, and love is not a victory march. It's cold and it's a broken hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Oh, here she comes. Okay, so we saw Oprah. I believe this was on her show, actually. Do these two know that she's coming, but Fraser doesn't? It seems like an acknowledgement, and and he goes, "Oh my God." Maybe none of them know. Very interesting. People act differently in situations. It's very easy to comment on things retrospectively. If none of them knew, it could just be true, absolute shock, I guess. Especially when you're on a show like Oprah's show, televised live performance in front of a crowd, you will be very conscious of how you act and what you do. So having Celine Dion, one of the most famous Canadians of all time, come out, yeah, it would certainly be a nice surprise for them, wouldn't it? Well, before we get into her joining them with the singing, I guess, let's just go over a few things from the second verse that we had there.
I've seen this room and I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you.
Definitely a different style of voice. There's a different timbre, a different texture to the sound. Richer vibrato, a bit less pop-y in style, and a bit more aligned with your traditional classical singer.
Seen your flag on the marble arch.
And now his voice, again, different in style. And my only point of reference here is going to be a group that I've covered quite a lot on this channel. If you have watched my channel before, you may well have watched them, and it's Austin from Home Free. That's what his voice reminds me of.
On the marble arch, and love is not a victory march.
Okay, just in case you don't know who that is, I'll try and put a clip in here and see if you can see what I mean by this similarity. It's also his accent is almost more country, I want to say. I mean, it's not country, but I can't think of a better word. But it seems a bit more regular, like someone would sound when they speak rather than when they sing. And yeah, a third powerful voice.
Victory march, it's cold and it's a broken hallelujah.
Not so much vibrato in his voice. So between the three of them, we really do kind of have a mix of so many characteristics in terms of the timbres, in terms of how much vibrato we're getting, in terms of when they use it, how frequently they use it, how rich the vibrato is, and the sound is getting slightly bigger now. The piano has joined the guitar in terms of the rhythmic consistently. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. So things are still, you know, they're not loud or aggressive, but there's definite growth. And then the interesting harmonic bit, the clash chord I spoke about before, they do that again. Hallelujah. But it's less soft. There's not that airy voice that we were having before. More power to the sound. And there we do have a harmonic change really signified by the bass note. That bottom E, a change to E minor. And then Celine comes out. So let's finish this off. I am curious, like I say, if this is a real surprise, what they do with the arrangement. They would have rehearsed without the expectation of another singer joining them. So I guess that they will just hand her the verse, or do they sing in harmony? Let's find out.
Couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. I told the truth, I didn't come to fool you.
No, he genuinely looks in disbelief. How is he singing? The nerves must be off the charts.
And even though it all went wrong, stand before the Lord of song with nothing on my tongue.
Oh, well, that was nice, wasn't it? Definitely a nice surprise. It really did look like as well.
I didn't come to fool you.
I really like his facial expressions.
And even though it all went wrong.
Luckily, Hallelujah, and this is because of its chord progression, the harmonic infrastructure. The version in my head, again, I don't know which version, but it's the same harmonic progression as this. I guess it's the standard, probably the same we get in Leonard Cohen's. I don't know. One day I'll find out. But because of that, it's a very nice and easy song to harmonize. You can do it in so many different ways. So it's certainly believable that a singer, especially someone like Celine Dion, can come up here and just do what she wants, improvise a bit, and it will work. She'll know how to harmonize with it. And one thing that caught my ear
Stand before the Lord of song.
here, things are moving in parallel motion, which is fine in harmony. It's when you have an upper part, a lower part, maybe a middle part, moving up and down together. And that's a fairly common thing to do, but it's not very common to have in multiple consecutive steps. Usually one part will then have to stay whilst the others move, and then it rejoins, just because that's how harmony is, and to fit in with harmonies, that kind of thing. It's not an exact science. Here though, the parallel motion really stands out because it seems a tiny bit unnatural. Unnatural is a word that perhaps seems negative. I do not mean it in a negative way. It's just interesting to hear. But the line that Celine has chosen here is probably the best line all round in terms of not throwing off them. She's not stealing the part from any one of the others, and it's a line that gives them confidence to just continue singing as they had planned to do. What does she do after?
With nothing on my tongue but
She broke the parallel motion there with the jump up because she simply had to. And now she's taken the melody up the octave. And the Canadian tenor who had the melody at one of the lower parts, he is still singing the melody. So it looks like they stick to their part. Celine adds in some embellishments, these runs, showing off her pipes. And that was the bit that really did stand out as seemingly the most improvisatory, and she is just doing what she wants. And we get almost this bluesy harmony coming out in the tenors there with the flatter note, with that chromatic slide. And then they finish off soft again in the tenors. And then she gets in one last hallelujah at the end. Yeah, that was fun actually. It's nice being surprised as a reactor, because everything I do is a surprise. I don't know what to expect. But seeing the people I am watching also be surprised, that's definitely a different one to what I usually do. And it was enlightening because I've learned that I don't know Leonard Cohen's Alleluia, which, like I say, is a crime. And between you and me, I think I had Eric Clapton's image in my head when I was thinking of Alleluia. Floppy hair, glasses. I'm going to have a Google to confirm that afterwards. Anyway, enough about that. Let's leave that one there. Thank you again for this request, and thank you to everyone for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. Comment down below if you know if Hallelujah is in fact the most covered song of all time. Please don't comment down below how disappointed you are in me for not knowing Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. I thought I did, okay? I thought I did all my life. You can make me feel a bit better about myself by donating me a hot chocolate at the Buy Me a Coffee linked below. Or if you'd like to support me, join the community, get access to exclusive content, you can do so by joining the Patreon linked on the screen now, and I will see you next time.